Alright guys, I'm Landon with Linework Bucket Products. I'm here today to go over our traditional bucket setup, or at least mine, and how I improved it with some of our new products that we have come out with this year. We're going to start off with the setup. Our traditional setup, or my setup, we use the old 3-inch bucket hooks. You just hang the stuff that you need on there as you go. And we all know we get into a rush, or we get into a job where it requires a lot of stuff, so we end up putting most of that into our bucket, even though we can run it down the hand line. We all get into those positions. So what I have here is a setup with multitude of tools and equipment, and I got the chainsaw on the bottom of the bucket to show that that's where I usually put it when I'm topping out a pole or trying to cut it down to get it out of the primary area. We got the old tool apron here on traditional hooks as well. Get out of the way. And that, I mean, it can become difficult to get stuff on and off the hooks when there's already stuff on it, and that's the same case over here. You got these jack straps that had come out a while back. They're about an inch wide, and they become pretty difficult to get on the hooks as well, and that's the only thing you can put on the hook. The other problem that we run into is you're driving down the road. These things tend to slowly rattle together, and then it becomes a mess, and they get tight, and then you have to always constantly readjust and get them positioned back to where you want them. So that's the way my bucket used to be set up. I also ran into the issue where we'd get a water bottle, you'd put it up here in this front oval bag, or we put it over here by the control guard, and it was just never really a good place to put it. And if you put it by the control guard, it was always in the way of your pistol grip to move the bucket around. And if you put it in the oval bag, it was always in the way of your knickknacks, like your Insulinks or your one bolts or your lag bolts or bolts in general. And so it's always a struggle to find a place to put your water. We all need it. So what we come up with is a product called the Big Rack. And what it does is it's spaced out to where we can put it right off the front of the oval bag. And it sits there, and you still got room for your tool apron in a 2-man bucket. They also sit on the narrow side of your bucket. They have these extended hooks that have a larger, flatter surface. You can maintain more items, such as the jack strap that we just went over. You can put your wire brush on there as well, and they stay put. And the reason they stay better than the traditional bucket hook is they got this 90-degree angle here, and it makes it difficult for these things to get off without actually having to rotate your product off of the hook. They're wide enough to where you can get multiple Chicago grips to lay flush, because the old style, they'd sit on top of each other like that, and they'd typically stick out and hit you in the thigh or the groin. So now they sit flush. If you're up there and you're you're doing a pretty good job, take your Insulink there, and also put your grip on there, so you're not stepping on it all the time. And it's big enough where you can slide your hook on and off with one hand. If you're doing primary work, what I do is I take it, I like the open-end hook style, because I can take my tool and I can make my press. Once I'm done, I can put both hands back on, and I put it back on the Big Rack, back in its spot. With the chainsaw, when I'm topping out a pole, I hate standing on top of my chainsaw all the time. I'm always having to maneuver. So what we did is we put the spacers behind the Big Rack, and I put my chainsaw there. That way when I pull top it out, I take the top of the pole, I push it over, I move down in the bucket into position, the chainsaw's ready to go. I take the next chunk out, and I put it back. It's always there. It ain't going nowhere. This stuff is meant to stay. It's spaced out, it's durable, it's made of polypropylene with UV protected powder mixed in. The hooks are rated at 65 pounds a piece. Now I'm not telling you guys to go 65 pounds a piece. We just wanted it 65 so it would not break. So follow your guys' utility or company rules as far as weight ratio and weight limits in your bucket. I just want to let you guys know that it is built to last. Check out our YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram page. We blow it up with tannerite, and it barely even does anything to it. It's pretty incredible. Now the other thing we got are these dowels on the ends. What I usually do is I fight this leather pouch, and it drives me crazy, especially when they start to settle. And some of those tool aprons, they're made of canvas, and it's always a struggle to get that thing out of there. So these dowels, it's quick, pull it out, and it goes right in. The other thing I find it difficult to do is finding a place for this that's a quick and accessible place, because I'm constantly using my nut runner. It fits right there. It fits right on the end, and it's quick, and it comes right out. That's the big rack. It's an organizational tool meant for linemen and aerial construction.